Hello everybody, I'm your host Woody, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 horrifying creatures from the Bible that still exist today. The monsters in the Bible were often believed to be exaggerated versions of animals on our own Earth, so let's get into it. Number 10, Locusts. Here is the first and probably most obvious, and to me, probably one of the most horrifying. The Bible makes references to locusts in Revelation 9, and they are referred to as the pit locusts. They are one of 6 disasters that are set to come in the book of Revelation, said that they are not given permission to kill, but exist for the sole purpose of tormenting people. Sounds a bit like my sister. Here's how they are described. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power like the power of scorpions of the earth. In appearance the locusts were like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold, their faces were like human faces. As we know, locusts are all over the place on earth, being a species of short-horned grasshopper. I don't know how much biblical tormenting they do, but in 2016 enough locusts to cover 270,000 square miles invaded Russia, and having to even read that headline was torment to me. Number 9, Behemoth. The references to the Behemoth come from the book of Job, not Job. As some of you pointed out, I was a silly little fool last time I said it and pronounced it wrong. So there you go, and I hope you're happy now. Now here is how the Behemoth creature is described. Behold Behemoth, which I made as I made you. He eats grass like an ox. Behold his strength in his loins, and his power in the muscles of his belly. He makes his tail stiff like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are knit together. His bones are tubes of bronze, his limbs like bars of iron. Many people believe that the Behemoth is actually just an exaggeration of a hippopotamus. And if you know anything about hippos, you know that they're downright terrifying, and you definitely do not want one for Christmas. Hippos are known as the deadliest land mammal on the planet and are responsible for about 500 deaths in Africa each year. They also have the strongest bite force of all land animals and have been known to take on full packs of lions. Number 8, unicorns. Okay, don't click off just yet. Yes, I know unicorns probably don't actually exist, but this is similar to the Behemoth for the fact that people think the description of the unicorn was actually a different real-world creature. So here's how they were described in Deuteronomy. A firstborn bull, he has majesty, and his horns are the horns of a wild ox. With them he shall gore the peoples, all of them to the ends of the earth. Because of the description of having one horn, many people believe that this was actually referencing a rhinoceros. Like the hippo, they are a real-world creature that is pretty damn terrifying. Because of their poor vision, rhinos can often be incredibly unpredictable, charging after things if they are unable to identify whether or not they are a threat. A large full-grown rhino can weigh up to 3,000 pounds and are capable of flipping over a fully loaded vehicle. So if you're ever on a safari, you may want to keep an eye out for these modern day unicorns. Number 7, snakes. Snakes are referenced many times in the Bible. One creature that was believed to be a reference to a poisonous viper is the cockatrice. They are said to live in a hole in the ground and can kill a man or animal with only one bite. They are described as possessing the most deadly powers, plants withering at its touch, and men and animals dying poisoned by its look. While you may not immediately think of a snake as a horrifying creature, maybe you or someone you know keeps one as a pet, there are some pretty terrifying snakes out there across the world. The saw-scaled viper is said by scientists to be the deadliest snake of all, apparently being responsible for more deaths than all other snake species combined. One of the largest snakes in the world is the green anaconda, which can grow to around 30 feet long. They eat around 40 pounds of food a day and are one of the only snake species capable of consuming a human. Number 6, Leviathan. The Leviathan is one of the main scary creatures described in the Bible, thought by many to be Satan taking on another form. Here's how he is described. In that day the Lord will take his sharp, great, and mighty sword and bring judgment on Leviathan the fleeing serpent, Leviathan the coiling serpent, and he will slay the dragon of the sea. Like the Behemoth, he is said to be slain by the Lord. While some people think that the Leviathan is some sort of mythical sea monster, other people believe that this was a description of a massive crocodile. Fossil evidence of the largest crocodile ever showed the creature to be 40 feet long and weighing 17,000 pounds, but those prehistoric crocs obviously don't still exist today. The largest crocodile recorded in recent history was named Lolong and lived in the Philippines, measuring 20 feet long and weighing over 2,000 pounds. Crocodiles also have the strongest bite of any animal in the world, applying over 5,000 pounds of pressure. Number 5. Werewolves. Alright, here's the part of the list where we move out of science and get into the more speculative and paranormal, because right now I am going to convince you that werewolves were both in the Bible and still exist today. So here we go. In the book of Daniel, we see God cursing a man into becoming an animal, sending him to live with the beasts in the field until he learns his lesson. Werewolves have also been mentioned in other texts before the beginning of Christianity, the past nation of Scythia believing that there were people who turned into wolves at every full moon. Okay, now let me get into this bizarre and wacky conspiracy theory that I just love. Werewolves exist today because the royal family are werewolves. The next 4 people in line for the throne were all born under a full or new moon, and their royal blood is actually werewolf blood. Queen Elizabeth herself is not a werewolf, but is a werewolf of them and doesn't want Charles to take the throne and start a new era of werewolf domination, and that's why she's hanging on for so long. If you don't believe me, I don't care. Number 4. Dinosaurs. Okay, no, dinosaurs do not still exist today, unless you count birds, but I think we are close enough to a real-world Jurassic Park that I can put this on the list. Again, if you have any complaints about this, take it to the complaints department down below and I will ignore it and scroll past. In the book of Job, God is speaking of real creatures when he describes an enormous creature that has a tail that sways like a cedar, is not alarmed by raging waters, and its limbs are like rods of iron. Probably the Behemoth, and many people believe that the Behemoth could have also been a dinosaur known as the Brontosaurus, one of the main dinosaurs you can see featured in Jurassic Park. It is also described as ranking first among God's creations, and since the dinos were here long before us, it would make sense that a dino is what this passage is in reference to. And while Brontosauruses were herbivores and overall not that threatening to human life, dinosaurs were still massive and are pretty terrifying to look at, even just in museums. Number 3. Aliens. Alright, we finally made it to my obligatory aliens are totally real entry. And you're probably wondering, I don't remember aliens being in the Bible. Well, they were, and no, I am not crazy. Yet. One species that is mentioned in the Bible is the Nephilim, born from angels mating with human women. God was not a huge fan of this and wiped them out in a flood and subsequent wars. The Nephilim are sometimes described as falling from the sky, and it's led to some, totally sane, people believing that the Nephilim were actually descriptions of aliens. There is tons of believable evidence out there surrounding the existence of aliens, especially coming from the release of the Pentagon's UAV reports. If you haven't seen my other video on that, then you should go watch it because I honestly really enjoyed making it. I also don't think you need government evidence to believe that aliens are out there. The universe is infinite, and you just have to believe that there is at least one other planet out there capable of sustaining life forms. It just makes sense. I am not crazy. Aliens are real. Number 2. Vampires. Now you are going to think I'm totally crazy because I'm now going to tell you that not just aliens and werewolves were in the Bible, but yes, vampires as well. One of the main references to what people believe to be a description of vampires is this passage. There are those whose teeth are swords, whose fangs are knives, to devour the poor from off the earth, the needy from among mankind. While some people believe this is just colorful imagery for being greedy, there is reference to vampires all the way back in ancient Egypt. So while they don't use the word vampire, it's just because they didn't have that word yet. Now let me tell you why vampires definitely exist and are out there right now. The royal family has vampires. Yes, Prince Charles is apparently not just an evil werewolf overlord, but also a vampire. Prince Charles has a fascination with Transylvania, and while promoting a television show in 2011, he revealed that he is actually related to Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Dracula. So yes, vampires are real, and they are in the royal family. That is a fact. Number 1. Demons. Alright, now here's one that some of you are more likely likely to believe. Obviously, alongside angels, demons are a huge presence within the Bible. They are usually said to be fallen angels that can usually be found hanging out in hell with their good pal Satan. Many people believe that these demons are real and they can be found interfering with human life. If you've watched any other video on this channel, then you know that there are plenty of stories and real life accounts from real people who believe that they have had run-ins with demons or even conversed with the devil himself. There are people who have stories of using Ouija boards and communing with evil spirits, purposefully making a deal with the devil, criminals who claim to have been possessed by demons when they committed their crimes, and the countless exorcisms that have taken place throughout history. Seems like plenty of evidence that these rude dudes are pretty real. Thank you guys for watching. That was 10 horrifying creatures from the Bible that still exist today. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to like and subscribe and maybe check out some more of our stuff. I've been your host Woody. Join us next time for more lists and scary things.